One of the most common things learners say to me is, would that be a fail if this was a driving test? And the answer 90% of the time is no, it wouldn't. I'm going to show you exactly what some of these things look like. And the first one we're going to be looking at is the show me, tell me questions. And this is a bit of a confusing one because you hear all sorts of different things on YouTube, TikTok, depending on the person, depending on the area. You might hear things from your friends. It all gets very muddly. So we're going to clear this up for you today because the honest truth is, can you fail from a show me, tell me question? Yes. Are you likely to? Very, very unlikely to, no. But it has been seen. So let me explain. On your driving test, the examiner is going to ask you before the test start a tell me question. You can see these. I'll try and put a link here, but search in Google, show me, tell me questions. Now, if you get this tell me question wrong, that is only going to go down as a minor fault. That's it. There is nothing else to say about that. During the driving test, the examiner is also going to ask you a show me question. This involves one of 7 questions where the examiner just asks you something like, can you show me how to open and close a side window? Now again, 9 times out of 10, if you get this question wrong, there's not going to be any problem. It's just going to be a minor fault. We don't really care about minor faults. Shh, you're human. No one's perfect. It's okay. What we do care about is serious faults. Now, if you were just to say to the examiner, I don't know how to do that.
What?
Now, if you were to just say to the examiner, I don't know how to do that, or you fumble it a little bit, not a problem. The problem comes in if you introduce risk, danger. Now, I'll show you what that looks like. Now, if the examiner says to me, can you open a side window, your side window, and I'm like, and I'm opening all the side windows, but I eventually open my side window, no problem, because we've stayed on the road, I've opened all the side windows, but so what? Think about real life. You accidentally open the wrong window, what do? You close it again, hopefully. As long as you can open your side window, that's going to be absolutely fine. You're not even going to get a fault for that. That's normal, A-okay. Now the problem is going to arise if I'm going down here and he says open a side window and I start looking down and oh, I've gone up the frigging curb. What have I done? I've introduced risk. That's not good, is it? Because if I can't open a side window without crashing into the curb, what's on the curb? Pedestrians. Do we want to go near the pedestrians? We never want to go near the pedestrians. So no, that wouldn't be a good situation to be in. That is when you are going to fail for your show me questions. If you ever hear anyone say, I failed for my show me question, that's what's happened. They've gone and started staring at it, lost control of the vehicle, boom, examiner's grabbed the wheel or helped in some way, that's it. Now, there is a caveat to this. I have had one student, Chadders, bless him, Chadders, peace out if you're watching this, he has passed now. I said, look, if you don't want to answer, you're focusing on the driving test too much, just say to the examiner, I don't know the answer. Fine, great. Now there's a new examiner on that was only there temporarily, and he said, I don't know the answer. He said, okay, don't worry. And he asked Chad to pull over like this. He said, right, pull over. He said, right, now can you show me how to turn on the dipped headlights? So he says, yeah. He said, great, now carry on. He said, Chad, can you show me how to do the dipped headlights while you're driving? Starts fumbling. He couldn't do it. He couldn't do it while he was driving, okay? And still to this day, I haven't got a clear indication. I did ask the examiner because I was trying to figure out what happened, and still to this day, I don't even know what the examiner's problem was, but he wouldn't give me a clear answer, but he failed him for the fact he could not do the dipped headlights while he was driving. So yeah, bit of a weird one there. I think it was maybe a mixture of he wasn't controlling the vehicle properly, don't know. But point of the story is, should he be able to turn his freaking dipped headlights on while driving? Yes, I imagine it was far more nerve involved, but there you go. One of those situations. Generally, can't fail for a show me, tell me question. Just make sure you can control the vehicle. A signal is to show other people what you plan to do, what you want to do, what your intentions are. If there's no one to signal for, no one's going to benefit, do you have to signal? No. Now, I only teach, when I teach you how to do things, what's going to impress the examiner, I'm actually teaching you as well how to drive in real life. If you ever watch a policeman driving, when they're changing lanes, if there's no one that's going to benefit, no one that can affect them or them affect someone else, they won't signal. Why? Not because they're lazy, because it's pointless. And when we get pointless things, like if your driving instructor's teaching you to be a robot driver, you're not going to stick to them because you don't understand why, because your brain's saying, well, there's no point. So stick to the things that have a point, and then you'll do them when you pass your driving test. Now, what's the examiner expecting with signals on your driving test? The examiner is first of all expecting you to use common sense. The examiner is just like you, me, your dad, your driving instructor, and they are expecting you to signal if there's a benefit, and they are expecting you to signal if it's going to help someone. We can have a quick look around here, and I don't know if you can see, but I can tell you now, there is no one around. There's not a dog walker, there's not a person, there's absolutely no one around. So what is the point of me signaling at this point? There is absolutely no point. So I'm not going to. Would the examiner mind that? No, the examiner would be quite happy with that because there's no benefit. Now, if there's a dog walker, maybe what might they want to do? Cross the road. Should I signal? Yes, absolutely, someone could benefit. What about if there's an oncoming car? Should I signal? Yes, definitely. They would benefit if they want to turn into a driveway, park on our side of the road, anything at all. So if you can see someone that could possibly benefit, definitely signal. When you get to the end of a road like a junction, should I signal? Always signal. Why? Because you don't know what's coming up and down the road. So it's very clear, and why not? You come to the end of the road, it's not a big deal. So the main time you can decide if you should signal or not is when you're pulled up on the side of the road and pulling off, when you are changing lanes, if there's no one else around, you need to signal. And if you're in a lane that has road markings that shows one direction. Now I say you decide because it is situational. Even in those situations, maybe you might want to signal. Again, it really depends if it's going to benefit anyone. Right then, next. Now here, turning right in theory, do I need to signal? No, not really, because there's absolutely no one around. However, again, because I'm going to a side road, I don't really know what's coming up too well. So should I signal? Yes. Hopefully you can see the difference. And I can promise you the examiner is going to be exactly the same. They just want to see a bit of common sense. If it's not going to affect anyone, then there's no point. If there's any risk at all, then absolutely. And if you're in doubt, should I signal? You're not going to go wrong on your driving test if you do signal when you don't need to, generally. Again, provided no one pulls out on you because you signaled too early or whatever. What is often an interesting one is, should you signal around parked cars? This can be quite confusing because it depends on the situation. Now, I would generally say don't signal around a parked car. Why? Well, can you see that junction in the distance there? Imagine someone's waiting to pull out there. I signal right here. What's that car thinking I'm doing? I'm going to turn right. So what's he tempted to do? He's going to pull out on me. Do I want that? Am I turning right? No, I'm not turning right. Does anyone need me to signal around this car? Well, they shouldn't do because it's pretty bloody big. You can see if there's a car parked. Now, that's the interesting word. It's the size, okay? It's about the size. It's a car, so it's quite big. Now, if you're overtaking something, going around something that's smaller than you, such as a pedestrian on a scooter, anything that's smaller, a dog walker, should you signal at that point? Definitely, because those cars behind you possibly can't see it. And at that point, yes, it might be confusing that you turn right, but it's more important that the people behind you can get an idea that you're going around something. That is why if you're following a bus, a lorry, anything like that that's big, they will always signal when they're going around a vehicle, because yes, it might confuse you and think you're turning right, but it's more important you know there's something in front of them that you can't see. Now I love this one. How many times have you sat there at a junction like this, you've seen a car, you've stopped, and you've thought, darn it, I could have gone there, I could have gone, I failed. I've sat there, I'm hesitating, examiner's marking me, this is bad news. I see it a lot, all the time. I'm going to show you the big difference between hesitation and just being sensible. And it's hard. If you don't know the difference, it's very, very difficult, okay? It requires a little bit of driving common sense, and when you learn it, now we're going to the end of the road here. Now what typically happens is we get to the end of the road, we look, there's some cars coming, there's a decent enough gap, but we wait. And we sit there waiting and panicking about this car. And then we think, darn, we've hesitated. And then we do start panicking often because we are then hesitating at this point. Right, so we're looking right, there's a car here, there's a car here. Could I go at this gap here? Oh, I don't know. Oh, darn it, I could have gone. Have I got a fault? No, I haven't got a fault. Why? Because I need to let a car go to judge the speed, judge the distance, judge the gap. Now, if I've done that junction a million times, it's going to be easy for me to do. If I haven't done that junction before, how am I going to have any idea? I'm not. I'm going to have no idea. So it's a bit like if I drive to London or Scotland, I don't know those areas very well. I'm going to come across roundabouts and junctions that I've never done before. And that's okay. That's normal, isn't it? Which means I'm not going to be able to judge those junctions and roundabouts anywhere near as well as someone that lives there. Which means when I decide when to go, I'm going to be ever so slightly more cautious, which means, what does that look like? It means letting one car go, perhaps, when I could have gone, maybe missing a gap. But I didn't know that gap was there until I've judged the speed of the cars. Are you seeing where I'm going with this? Basically, letting a car go isn't hesitation. It's building a healthy idea of the speed of the traffic and building an idea of a healthy gap. Far better to do that than risk pulling out on someone, not judging the speed, and pulling out onto, for instance, a 50 mile per hour road that you didn't realize was 50 mile per hour because you just pulled out on the first car. Now, if you see a gap, you sit there, the car's gone, and now you're kicking yourself. You're like, oh, I could have gone there, should have gone there. And then you miss another gap. Well, now you're beginning to hesitate. Or if you sit there, when normally you would have gone, you know everyone else would have gone, but you're sitting there because you're being extra cautious because everyone loves caution. News for you, newsflash, no one likes that. No one likes that at all. If a normal driver wouldn't do that, you shouldn't be doing that because you're not part of the system then. What the examiner wants to see is you part of the system. They want to see you normal driving. Nobody likes a learner, okay? No one likes a learner. Drive like a normal driver and it's going to be a hell of a lot easier. Now, same idea here. We're on a roundabout, we're looking. Could I go here? Maybe I could have gone there. I don't know. But I'm not going to go. I'm going to build an idea instead. Now, there is a really good opportunity for you to see as well. What did that guy do? He gave me the old hand, the old wiggly fingers. What does that mean? Well, generally, if someone's making eye contact with you and giving you the wiggly fingers, flashing, anything like that, they're saying, be my guest, bro. Get going, get out. Now, should you go or should you not? Personally, I would say definitely go, because all you're doing at that point is holding up the traffic. Yeah, you're holding up people behind you. The guy's told you to go, you're holding him up. The traffic behind him, you're holding them up. It's confusing. What would a normal driver do? Well, they'd go. And what are you? You're at your driving test, so you're telling the examiner you are a normal driver. Nailed it. Nailed it. This is helping, by the way. Feel free to have a look at my online driving course. Save yourself a bit of money on driving lessons, or just boost your confidence a bit. Check you're doing everything right. Costs less than one driving lesson. Also, a free test route on the link below as well. App is in alpha. Please be patient, be nice. Any feedback is really welcome. I'm very excited, by the way, so please do give any feedback you've got. Particularly negative feedback. I need negative feedback, polite negative feedback, to help me make it better, because I want to make it amazing for you guys. And I'm a strong believer if you've got a good idea of the area, it's going to massively help your chances of boosting your chance of passing your driving test. Now you see this. So I'm a learner. I'm in a learner car. I've got cars around me. No one's trying to overtake me. No one's trying to do anything weird around me. Why? Because I'm driving like a normal driver. People don't do stupid things around learners because you're a learner. Well, they do. They don't do stupid things around you because you're in a learner car. They do stupid things around you because you're making them frustrated because you're driving like a learner. And when you're actually a learner, that's okay. That's no problem. But if you're going through your driving test and you're saying, I'm at a standard to be going to my driving test, you shouldn't be driving like a learner anymore. You should be driving like a normal driver, a normal good driver, not the bad kinds, you know? You know which kind I'm talking about. What a gent, eh? What a hero. Another great example. Someone sits there, that's the first sign. What are they saying to you? Go, baby. Oh, and another one. Then they flash. What are they really probably saying to you? Oh, please go. So what should you do? Go. Just go. What does the examiner want you to do? Well, the examiner wants you to be a normal driver. They want you to go as well. Let me know in the comments if this all makes sense to you. Like, is it helping? Now, I don't know if you saw there, that person was indicating there. Should you pull out when someone's indicating? Well, that is a you choice. It's not a definite yes or a definite no. It's just a you choose if it's safe to go or not. Okay, because if they do leave their indicator on and carry on straight, it's your fault. Now, I did go there, I did pull out. Why? Because what was their speed like? They slowed down as well. Sort of slows down as well. That is a very good sign for you to get going. 26% of you are subscribed. I'd really like to get that to the 30 mark. If you're not subscribed and you're enjoying it, please subscribe. You might see some of my shorts as well. Don't you see some of them? Hopefully this has helped, and I will see you all soon. I am Josh, your driving instructor. Take care and good luck.